So our course is about productivity. Today we will talk about habits. And before I'll tell in general what will be today and what will be our course and what will be today lecture, I will ask you a question. This one. Do you read a book before going to the bed? Please raise your hand who reads some books before going to the bed. No, well, before, maybe sometime there was a time in your life when you go and sometimes read a book. Okay, one person, two persons. Okay, maybe, okay, let's be more general. Some reading before bed. Okay, two persons. Okay, then I want to ask you why you read before bed and why you read not, for example, in the morning, if you don't read in the morning. So why it's exactly before bed?
Because it's most productive.
What? How do you decide that it was its most productive time?
On morning you are sleepy. The whole day has passed. You perfectly
Okay, so you see that you have some gap. You don't know how to describe this thing. Yeah. What?
If I read something before the bed,
Yeah.
for example, very uninteresting article
Okay.
for my diploma, I will go to sleep very well. It's the first procedure to go to sleep.
Yes, so the first procedure to go to sleep is very good. I will close the door, sorry. Uh, yeah, the first procedure is very good choice of words. So you have some steps to go to sleep, and one of them are to read article about your what you tell that it is feel something. It will we will talk about it. It's something very flippant thing, very frequent thing. No, no, frequent, very fragile thing that called context, and you maybe think about it. Yeah.
When I read, okay, before after some work, for example, your classes or something else, yes, before your after your homework, you are very excited. I don't know more words about like возбужденный,
Yeah.
You're in power mode.
Yeah.
So, but yes, after reading, and I can sleep when I'm in this power mode.
Mhm.
Very ill or something else, but no. In general, I have very excited.
Mhm.
But after reading, you become more relaxed or how to say more flexible. I don't know because you like become like a jelly guy.
Okay, yeah, so you calm down and you use this time to just to slow after this big day. Yes, it's all great answers. The people who are not reading books before bed, why? It is not your interest, or you just try and it wasn't work for you. Yeah. Yeah, I know this feeling. I know this feeling. Okay. What about else?
For me, it's
Yeah.
like self-life because I know that in the evening I'm too inefficient to do some important things, but still efficient to do something like read.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's self-life, and if I will do in this way, I will just lose. So try to read while I'm traveling.
Okay, so for one of you, the reading before bed is about calm down, and for another one is the same action is to not to calm down, but maybe the opposite way. Is there very interesting stuff that we will remember, and so you're Alexei Kirkorovsky, yeah? You remember, and uh, we'll go to it further. Okay, um, I'll open my tips and let's go. Plan for today is the plan for today is an introduction about the whole course. It's the basis of all productivities. We will talk the most general behavior models that will describe that will work for us today and the next day and the next after next day and so on. And then we will go straight to the habits and analyze existing habits, analyze how to create habits, analyze how to get rid of habits. And when you will tie it with all this theory and practice, we will have one more theory that is more a bit more for homework. Let's get occurred. Okay, so maybe you warm up a little bit to tell what you know about productivity, and maybe you have a moment of proud where you think, yes, I feel that this moment I'm very productive mind. Do you have these moments? And please, what tell what you heard about the stuff that we will learn for the next 5 days. Yeah.
I can describe my own experience, but I think in opposite way because I'm not proud of it.
Yeah, you can. It's still worth it.
Yes, and it's about unproductivity. I think because actually I know that for me like this reels, TikTok, something with
Yeah.
this free endorphin. I think you understand what I'm talking about. So these free endorphin they are become you like unproductivity. You receive these free emotions.
Yeah, I understand.
Yes, and this part of my life I'm not proud of it.
So,
Yes.
how it's happened? You want to you want to do something, and then you have the push about some new URLs, or how it's?
It's like your own wish, I think, in yourself.
Okay.
I think because your mind become overwhelmed, like you're over.
Yeah, you know, your mind knows the solution. The solution is
Yes,
to.
yes. You want to become relaxed. Some guys going smoking, some guys going drinking or something else. But I think for me, like this part of cheating, I don't know, like open Instagram and just some.
Yeah, I know. I understand you completely. Okay. Who else have some moment of proud, or maybe the opposite one? Well, I can give you my last moment. The previous Friday, there was an important meeting for me. It was connected to my possible postdoc in another country, and it was start from the 9 a.m. till 11 a.m. and I have the whole day after it, and I can do nothing in this day because I was so excited to this meeting. I was so focused on it that maybe all my willpower just vanished. Do you have any of you other moments that we can talk? Yeah, Anthony. Yeah. Okay, please. Yeah, sure.
I'm not sure how they connect to anything else. I can notice they usually happen for some deadline, not every time.
Mm-hmm.
For example, it was when I was writing my baccalaureate diploma, I did like more than half of the job in one day plus 5 till 5 a.m. of another day.
Yeah. I was a student. I understand you. And the next day, the question today was question was about book, and tomorrow the question will be about deadlines. I will ask you to uh, to discuss why the deadlines are so effective for us. So save this story, please, and just try to think it for yourself now. And it's for everyone. Maybe all of you have some deadline stories, and you make something in the last night, and think why it is. And tomorrow we'll discuss. We'll start about it. So maybe it's one last story about success of failure, and we will continue. Okay, once, yeah.
More like question, because I really don't understand how it works. For example, I have 8 hours of work in open space somewhere.
Yeah.
I sit in open space. I know what I must to do, and I want to do this stuff. For
Yeah.
example, stuff for a plan, and I sit and try to do it, but my mind is disrupted. I always want to see left, right, one people, one friend, oh hello, how are you, and etc. Only 2 hours of this 8 hour period, I'm productive. I'm really productive.
Yeah.
For example, and other 6 hours, I somewhere everywhere, but not.
Yeah. I know this. I know this feeling. And we will the next lesson tomorrow. We will focus maybe the whole lesson trying to answer your question. But you have the answer in the question. You tell that you have disrupted, that you have one friend, other friend, and this is okay. And we will understand more deeply tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, it's the core is this. It's quite complicated in details, and so we will describe these details from one side and another side. But the core is, yeah, the core is that as the disruption, the things that you attract to, is more interesting for you somehow to than your work. We'll try to understand what to do. Okay, and you are, can you tell what's your name? Ivan Kakurin, yeah, great. Thanks. Okay, let's get into with me. My name is Anton. I'm a PhD for now, but I finished my PhD 2 years after then I finished my aspirantura, so I'm productive, but not very exactly. But I'm really, all the time I remember, I was, I has so much things that I want to do, and I think for myself that I was really non-productive because I see how much I am not understanding how much I can do. From the outer view, it was opposite way, but for my it was really unproductive time. And in 2019, I have a gift that's called Getting Things Done book that accelerate my thoughts on productivity, and we will talk about this technique tomorrow. And 2 years after, I started to understand how to work with information, and we'll talk about it in the last sections. I have a microblog. I will be glad if you join it. But it's in Russian. Well, I still have lots of interest in it, and I still not very productive. And why I'm pointing at it? Because there is some research that told that you can learn from people that have more higher than you in some field, but it is too high that you just, oh no, I can't reach it. I can reach the Nobel Prize laureates because they're too smart for me. But I may try to reach my colleagues that is a few more smarter. Today, I hope I will be a few more productive than you, but still not too productive to be very high. So I still have lots of things to do, a lot of things to understand. I have scientific consultant. It's the PhD in psychology, Леснова Елена. She helped me with all psychology stuff. Here you can see that our surnames are the same. It's not a coincidence. It's my mother. So we will talk about a lot of psychology, and I'm not a psychologist, and I always have such flippy way when I try to talk it. So I ask her to prove or disprove some of ideas I understand. About language, as I understand, not all of us are Russian speaking. Yeah. Look at one person. So we have an unique opportunity to learn about productivity in foreign language. There is another another research that told when you try to vote and to communicate in the language that is not your mother tongue, that is not Russian for most of you, you become more organized and then more productive. So the only point that we have the different language for communicate make you make this course more organized to you. But still, there will be lots of psychology terms and another terms, and these words are not so so common. And some of this word may be unknown for you. Well, it was unknown for me before I translate it. So I will try to translate some terms, some not common words in Russian. So for those of you who are not speaking Russian, and if I forget something, if you don't understand the word, you can, if you don't understand the term and so on, you can raise your hand, ask for translation, and I will translate this word for you, so it will be understandable. And I'm Russian speaking, so you can ask me tete-a-tete. You may ask me on Russian, but in class, please go with English. Okay. Today we are talking about habit. How long does it take to form a habit? Yeah? Yeah, it's a sarcasm or?
No, firstly, I think it's more personal.
Yeah.
For example, for me, it depends.
Yeah.
And it depends I don't know why, but for example, let's make an example. To make to write some diary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Diary. I don't have this habit, but actually, I try to write diary every day, like in a period of 2 months,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have this habit. But for example, for habit to make sandwiches on the day before, like
Yeah.
on my breakfast, this habit I have maybe 5 days.
Okay.
So, and the time period of making a habit, it depends on.
Yeah, we will remember this idea. We will return to it a few slides more later. That it is very interesting and useful idea. Usually, it is not 21 days. 21 days, it was just about from one article paper that was described about how it's called, a sportsman who was recovering after some trauma, some illness, and usually it's not what's in the day. The correct answer it depends. It depends. Just today I found an article that it was about that tells that it is from about 2 months to about half a year, and this really depends on people, of person, and about the habit. But still, not ever. It doesn't matter. 21 days or half an hour. It's still more than 5 days that we have. So our course is most about habits, and we have no physical opportunity to have these habits during this course. So how to make course useful for you? Let's try. At first, we will have some experiment right now. Please decide right now, please close your eyes and decide for yourself that, yeah, I want to be productive. I will, yeah, it sounds funny, but I will understand, I will tell where I'm coming. Decide for yourself that I will be productive. Just decide for yourself. Everyone is ready? Yeah? That, okay, no, okay, it was not, the correct idea is not I want to be productive, I will be productive man. I will productive man. So this is correct speech. I will tell what's the difference. I will tell what the difference. Decide I will be productive man and I will just want to be productive man. Okay. Now if you do it, if you don't think what this man talking, we are scientists, why I am in the hell asking like this, if you already do it, you increase the possibility about that you will be productive a little, because if you identify yourself as productive man, you will have this stuff called cognitive dissonance. Maybe you know this term. Every time that you are not productive. So, for example, I teach you this course. I teach you course this increase the part of my persona that tell me that I must be productivity man because I teach productivity, and this why I become more productive by itself. Okay, raise your hand who tells that you are productive. Raise your hand that thinks that he will be productive man. Raise your hand, please. Okay, and now let's just clip for all of us. You are great. You are a really great person, and you are a really great person. And now we decrease the possibility that you will be productive man. You decrease it because we congratulate you, and your brain has some endorphins, and then the brain tell, well, why I need in the hell to be productive if I already have this dopamines? So now we decrease it a little bit. Okay, I will not talk for this, and this one will go further. But so you see that there are some ideas that can increase your productivity, the possibility of productivity, and something that is really closer for this, and will this decrease the possibility. The second thing that I suggest you is to choose a body. It's an optional for you, an optional idea. Body is a man or two men who can communicate with you, and who you will be supposed to meet at Zoom or sometimes outside the class, and describe with him or her what is your progress, and maybe cheer each other. Please raise your hand who want to have a buddy for this course. It's optional, but please raise your hand who want to have a buddy. Okay, one person. Okay, two persons. Okay. So everyone else is want to be solo. Yeah. Maybe you will change your mind. So I will ask it again tomorrow. And because there are only two bodies, the next task is for you two. If it's okay to be with each other, right now spend a few minutes to decide when and how you will be met. Just right now, yeah. Describe when and how you will be met. It's up to you. It's all up to you. So, while these guys are describing, I will tell why its bodies increase your possibility to pass this course to be productive in very high way, because it is called a social pressure. We are social men that live in society, and if there is another man who are working with you, you will just feel blame if you lose him down, and so this will be motivation to work on it. So yeah.
Whole week?
Yeah, during the whole week, and maybe if you will. Yeah, and if you want to continue, it will be up to you to can make it. So you're ready? Okay. So during this week, and maybe I hope that it will be you feel the productive, and I feel that you will be productive, and you want to continue and going further. Okay, we will make. Yeah. Okay. Now, because there is only two of you will not make this task now, but I want you to make you a reminder after the course to ask yourself what will be, if you will be this day, how you will be reconnect. So just put a reminder and describe with each other what we will do. Why it is interesting, why we make all this stuff. The first thing is called social pressure. The thing about when and how you will be meet, it's called implementation intention. In Russian, there is really awful translation that's called реализационное намерение. It really sounds, awful, реализационное намерение. But but in English, it's implementation intention. And this stuff, the last stuff, it's called premortal. It's about when it's not about habits, it's about, job, life. You can decide what can be go wrong before it's going wrong, and so you just be more prepared. Let's go further. The next step is that everything is complicated. Yeah, if it will be so simple, all of us will be productive by this time. Yeah. So everything is complicated. It's okay. It's not a problem of your personal. It's just very complicated field. At first, scientific research are complicated. In the previous exercise, I'll tell you about the stuff that you increase productivity and increase possibility and decrease possibility, and a very narrow things may work in opposite way, and there are some proofs that this stuff increase productivity, and there are other proofs that this stuff decrease productivity. For example, planning increase productivity. Telling people about your plans decrease productivity because you already have the dopamines. But if you tell people, not in general, but the people that you know that will push you and they'll ask you, okay, Anton, you tell me, so where is the results? In this then it is productivity increase. If you teach people like me today, you increase productivity because it's I will have this cognitive dissonance if I teach something that I not believe in. Visualization goals decrease productivity. With visualization the path with some problems increase productivity. All of these are very narrow things, and what is the consequence from this stuff? That you need to check a lot of things yourself. Unfortunately, I really like science, but the science of productivity is very complicated in stuff. Obviously, if you second, telling people and this part, well, the difference is really narrow. When you just tell people, you publish something in your social network, and you have these likes, and you have retweets that, and you feel that you are successful right now, but nobody will go to this tweet and ask you in a year, do you have your word? Yeah. But if you do the same, for example, for your friend, and tell a friend, I'm telling and focus this friend attention that you are not telling to have things that you're success. You're telling to have a word, and so this friend will ask you in a month. Then it will increase. Okay. So yeah. Yes, this is a topic about that we will describe the next day. It's a very good and you don't really maybe analyze how deep question is what's productivity and how to measure it. So today I want to have a part of productivity that is habits, and this is more or less stable, not to put you to fear from the first time. So to check yourself, if you are not, have depression and the check will kill you, I hope that all of you are okay. Then to check something for a week and see that results work for you or not, it's not a big deal, but it is often the only way to understand is it working really for you. Interdisciplinary connection are complicated. most of our productivity is about psychology of motivation. So this is the foundation of productivity. But we also need a lot of stuff from other skills. For example, communication skills are really needed, for example, to ask someone delegation. You know about delegation? Delegation is a very good делегирование idea to be more productive. But if you can't ask person because you're afraid of them, you will not have the skill, and you will not be delegate. Programming and prompt engineering are stuff that help you automate some things, but if you don't have the skills, they're empty for you. Gamification is really a topic nearby because gamification is about motivation people for some action. This is well, have a lot of connection of productivity. Decision theory, it's a really in-depth theory in mathematics, in game theory and so on, that tell how to make the best decision about the situation you have. And obviously, we want to have, well, not bad decision at least, and but you may not be the specialist of decision theory. And the last type, I think, is experience in your professional field. Obviously, to be productive, you need to know what to do. If you don't know what to do at all, no technique will work on you. So this is all really complicated, and I am sure that I forget a bunch of things that are related to productivity. The next time part is where am I? Yes, next part is about no silver bullet. If you're interested in this topic at least once, you may be afraid of how many ideas, how many techniques are there. I think that I know about tens of the most famous, about 10 ideas about, and if we talk about not so famous ideas, I recently have the file with at least half of 100 ideas connected to productivity. So why there are so many? Because the thing is that everything may work and may not work. So please give me an idea of habit that you want to create, and I'll tell how it can work, and how it will not work. Please, any idea of habit that is well, it's rather relevant for you. Get up at 6 a.m. Okay, it's simple to understand how it's not work. You just sleep. You just fell asleep in 4 a.m. and you try to get out at 6 a.m. and then you have this alarm, and you just take it alarm once, and then take it off 2, take it off 4, and then if it's still annoying you, you just go to your smartphone, have some communication, and go and see that nothing is happening, and you go to sleep. So it's really simple to understand how it is not working. About it work, well, let's imagine that you find an article about that if you get up at 6 o'clock, that you will be, for example, first that you will live for 10 years late more. It's a first time. Second, you change your routine, so you go to sleep in about 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and then you have you really think about yourself, not about an owl, but about how it's called Javarnik, I don't know. You start to understand, to feel yourself as this bird, and you, I don't know, subscribe to a lot of motivation articles that tell you that you want to get up early, and you have a buddy who will call you and ask, are you getting up? So let's go and eat a very delicious pizza, for example. So and so on and so forth. And this is how you can go and try to get up earlier. Okay. Yeah. So, but this is all about everything, particularly every habit that you can work, and as we will tell in the second part, all productivity is about habits. So all of them may not work if you um, start to take it and then you interrupt for somehow. The most interruption part is of case social media. Yeah. So the description was not about exactly 6 a.m. and pizza. We will discuss all various of methods that are that help to create a habit. And I have a stuff that is really about this. This stuff helped me to wake up really earlier. I will tell you about it later. The point of this slide is not about the best way of how to be productive. The point of this slide is that there is a way. You know this from mathematician. Is there is a solution, or what is the best solution? This is different topics. So if you are not, if you have very good habit that you get distracted, for example, social media, this habit vanish. And if you really identify yourself and you really have social pressure about some habit, it will get on. You will get this habit, but I am not talking that this is the best way. The second and the last complicated thing is the state of mind is really complicated too. Because you know, productivity have some goal. You need to be productive for some reason. If you don't like your life, if you don't have some goals that you want to achieve in your life, that what's the reason to do all of this? And if some of things that we will talk, some instruments will shape this mindset a little bit, but still there is a border when you will just need to go to psychologist and deal with your life firstly, and then not to understand all this practice stuff. Okay, this was a long introduction about this course. As I told, we will have 3 topics: habits, productivity, and organization of information. We will have lecture and practice. We will learn about specific methods and foundation. And as the last one, in about a month from this, we will have that I call aftercare. We will, for those of you who want it, we will meet in Zoom or offline, and you will be able to share your progress and ask some questions and so on and so forth. So in a month or so, on something like this, we'll have this aftercare meeting, because month it's not still the best time to be productive, but still there is a little time. What is important about this course too is that I teach it for the first time, so your feedback will be really, really helpful for me to the next time. Okay. The first topic is most about triggers and ability. I will tell what it is. Productivity is about motivation and post-voluntary attention. And the organization is about memory and involuntary attention. And we will describe what it is later. And the last thing that I want to do is, again, point on the first topic. The first two may seem a little more connected than the first one. So this first two topics was more about information, about I assume that you already motivate to be productive. And the last topic is, well, it was a rather different vocabulary. And my point will be not just to tell you the ideas, but to motivate you and to make you understand how this organization is an essential part of productivity. So this will be the third topic. Background task. Please, if you have some thoughts that somehow resonate with you, that grabs your attention, that you see, oh, I don't think about it, but it is a really cool thought, idea. It may be it may be my ideas, it may be your own ideas, or maybe ideas of your colleagues. Please mark it, and we will have a task in conversation you want to put it. This is important not only to save this to point your attention, but this will be an essential part of the fourth lecture. In the fourth lecture, we will deal with the core of our lesson will be deal with the spots you saved before. For example, well, I really, for example, okay, let's think that you ask me about 6 a.m. and I tell that if you have pizza and friend and you get up earlier and social media groups, that will be okay. And you think, oh, about social media groups, it was the idea that is interesting. Yeah, I can imagine a friend, but I never think about to have these groups that support you and to have this message to you. And then you mark the idea about social media groups and see that it is interesting for you. Okay, criteria of passing course, I make the announcement today. Again, we have attended the formal idea from education. We have some thoughts that resonate with you, so everything that is sounds interesting for you, it's I hope that you will mark them somehow or just write it down. There will be task in Canvas. For example, today I will ask you to put one habit there, and there will be additional tasks because you try to be productive, and in the real world, not all tasks are going through Canvas. Sometimes a person just tell you that you need to do on class or by Telegram, and I hope that the course will teach you how to deal with this task, and we will have this task to how it's called, simulate the real life situation. Okay, productivity is about habits. Productivity is about habits. I will translate this more general the next day, but still a few words now. A lot of productivity is really also habits. So if you have for example, Pomodoro technique, most of you know the Pomodoro technique, yeah? Pomodoro technique is when you have such, for example, a timer and you do something for a time and then you have a break. So it's a habit because you need to set up this timer, you need to have habit of working with for this time, and then you need to habit not just ignore the break, but go to a break. So everything is about habits. So let's discuss habits. This is my ideas for today. First, focus on preparation. So think about how to prepare, how to make your life easier before this moment. Second, change the ability. Simplify the tasks that you want to do and make it harder for things that you are not want to do. Strive for regularity, but don't blame yourself. So regularity of the habits are very important. But if you have, in one hand, you have a regular task, and in the other hand, you have these things. Oh, I don't want it to do now because now it's really annoying. Then it's better to skip it, not to have a blame. And the first is raise the stakes. Somehow you need to go wider and see not the task by itself, but the positive or negative connection to this task in your life. And if you think why does it will be better for you simpler to make product to be productive. Okay, what is habit? Tomorrow we will discuss about what is productivity. Today we will discuss what is habit. What do you think?
Some action that you want to repeat again.
Yes.
You have some trigger,
Mm-hmm.
doing what you want.
Okay, some actions that you want to repeat again and again. Again, what else of thing, guys thinks? What is action? What is habit?
Every time, but you do this one time every day or week. The same.
Okay, so regular time. Okay, yeah, new day. Yeah. Willpower. Yes, something that you don't need to apply willpower. Yeah. This is maybe the one last time idea from you. What do you think? Okay, something that you okay. From Wikipedia, there is so much um, definition. This stuff is подсознательно. This stuff подсознательно, without сознание. Well, but I want to have a broader definition for you. My definition is this stuff. So I'm arguing that not all habits are automatically, not all habits are really without willpower. For example, when let's return to the book. When I have this read the book habit and see the smartphone, sometimes I need to have a teeny willpower to put the smartphone away and read the book. But still, it's simpler for me to read the book before bed than in another time. Okay, so it's about simplicity and really about trigger, and we will talk about what it is a few moments later. You know, there is some ancient Jewish ideas, perché what? And there was a famous Rebbe called, his name was Gilel, and one day a person from different religion go to him and tell, I will turn to Judaism, but only if you teach me the whole Torah while I stand in one leg. And if you ever heard anything about Judaism, you know that there are a ton of books. And so there was just impossible. But Hillel says the following. Hillel says that what is hateful to you, don't do this neighbor. And now, so only one idea that describe all the book. Why I mention it now? Because we have one idea for the whole course too. This is this stuff. The behavioral model of BJ Fogg. I will recreate it there because we will need it. Motivation, ability, behavioral model of BJ Fogg. Who ever heard about it? Okay, who can imagine how it works? Who can follow this model and try to give an example? So there is no, you can try to understand where is the time here.
I have some thoughts about it. Look, maybe if you during the time and you regularly do your way how to improve your habits.
Mm-hmm.
You firstly you have to push a lot of motivation to
Mm-hmm.
make your habit.
Mm-hmm.
But during the time, regularity and your
Mm-hmm.
regularity, so the motivation is decreasing.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, this model is not about the whole habit. This model is about, well, each action independently. So can you imagine situation about action? May I ask you? So please imagine some situation in your life when you do something and try to understand how it can be related to this model. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's a really great example. You can uh, get up at 6 a.m. and in 8 a.m., but in 8 a.m. Motivation is less. And what is the trigger for all this stuff? Yeah.
Maybe more value of trigger just trying to wake up by yourself.
Yes, this may be
Maybe
one
it's
possible trigger.
alarms that you can just hit it. So
Yeah.
and high trigger, some alarms that is hard to turn off, you need to solve some problem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yes, we have some example. Well, my mom, this is important. To tell you the following example. Let's imagine. So for me as a guy, let's imagine that I see a girl in the street. Will I meet her and will I ask her for a phone? If I if I am pick-upper, then practically every girl is for me. I have really high ability, so a little motivation is okay for me. If I am a very shy guy as I am, the girl must be really much for me that I will uh, step over my shyness and go to ask her. And but if the girl is, for example, in the other way of chaussee, so there will be a lot of cars, and to have your phone, I need to to go find yeah, to turn around, so on and so forth. I will not do this, even if he is really attractive. And if there is no girl at all, obviously will not do this action at all. So this is how it works. Little things that we are easier for us to do, we can do with a small motivation. Things that is really high for us to do, we can do with high motivation. And in this time we need some triggers. Okay. When I was taught about this quote, people who told me focus on this part, go and study it. So even if all of the stuff comes from behavioral model, from this behavioral model, you still need to study lots of other things. And so everything else that we will have is to study how this model are connected to reality. Habit is a trigger, publicity, and reward. And we lots of time we are not talking about triggers. We are not just forget about it, and it is an error because from myself I have a more than 2 years action that is still not a habit for me because I don't have trigger. Who studied Duolingo? Who studied in Duolingo? Please raise your hand. One of you, two, a few of you. Okay. So Duolingo, for those who not understand, this is this passive angry owl that want you to study some language, and this owl send you pushes and motivate you to study. But I never push for me is not a trigger because push may come for me when I go and really busy. So each day for this more than 2 years, I need to decide by my brain when I will study Duolingo, when I have. Sometimes it is in the day, sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the evening, and even if it's just a 5 minutes, maybe often it's when 1 minute action, but it is not a habit for me because I have no constant trigger. And practice. What is about time? Okay, time is okay. At first, well, reflect on something existing is simpler than to reflect on how to create some. You have this motivation, ability, and trigger example. Please, for next 5 minutes, go to your papers and reflect on not 5 minutes. For example, sorry. Oh no, yeah, okay. For 5 minutes, reflect and just put all the habits you have, all the habits that you have in mind. Just go and put it in. The next 5 minutes we will reflect on some of them, but for now, just go and put every habit you have. If you need paper, I can give you a paper. So reflect for yourself, what habits do you have? Yeah, right now. What you have this 5 minute stuff. Well, I will turn the volume on. So in 5 minutes, just reflect of what are the habits. My definition of habits are very broad. So it's very broad because all of this have one mechanism, one formula. So if for going for a walk you have a trigger, you have a motivation and ability, then yes, you can search, you can tell that it is a habit. Well, interesting question. Well, I think that you can put it as a habit if you want. If you want, you can put it as a habit. But it is an interesting question. You have 1.5 minutes to finish the first time, but please look what habits are in the morning, what the habits are in the evening, what habits you have. For example, do you have a habit for dishes your plates? Do you have a habit, for example, go to a cup of coffee when you're going to somewhere, or what you're done when you're going to school? Maybe the first habit is For example, text to your friends that you are calm. So habits are very automatically, usually it's very automatically, so it is hard even to understand that this stuff is a habit. But please try to do it. Okay. So for the next 5 minutes, I want you to choose from 3 to 5 habits from this list that is most interesting for you, and try to put them on the scheme. Try to understand what the motivation of the habit, why you are doing it, and what is the trigger. The trigger is very essential, and what is, well, for this, what is the action. So what is the action? So make it for 3 from 5 habits of yours. Understand what is the trigger and what is the motivation and the ability. Well, trigger is something after what you are creating the habit. You're doing the habit. So, for example, when I go to home, and the first stuff I do, I put my case to a, well, yeah. So then the going home maybe considered as trigger. When triggers are maybe a bit more complicated, we'll talk about it later. So, but generally speaking, triggers are what happened. Yeah, after what you create a habit. So yeah, one of the part of why we are doing this exercise to make you feel what the different trigger may be. It may be some action, it may be some feelings, it may be some mood. So lots of stuff. Plus, just try to feel for yourself what it is. Choose from 3 to 5 habits from the list you make at the first time, and try to put them onto the scheme. Try to understand what is the trigger of your habit, what is the motivation, and what you're doing. Yeah. So choose 3 for 5 habits. What's most interesting for you?
Is the point on the graph?
Okay. Well, about point graph, you will see that there are some there, but still, the thing what you need to do is to create this stuff. So trigger, action, and reward. What is your motivation or reward? Okay, what? One more example of trigger. Okay. Let's choose something not so complex. Well, okay, simple trigger when this is alarm, light alarm. When it's become lighting, I get up and I get out from the bed. Then, when I get out of the bed and see this stuff, I don't call thermos. I think thermos it's in English thermos too. I don't know. When I see this thermos, I go from the bed and drink a hot tea from it. It's not trigger, for example. Yeah. But it is, we will talk about external and internal triggers, but in most cases something visual. But you know, sometimes it may be implicit. Give me a moment. I'll come with more specific example of it. Okay, here's an example. I have there is a friend. Well, okay, now it is not my friend, but it was a friend of mine, and there is some things that I'm really annoying about him. And now we are not so close as we were. And today, and now when we are talking, and he does these things, I think for a safe, safeguard that he is not my friend, and so I can be just more calm with this communication. And this is a trigger. The trigger is my thoughts about how it's annoying, and the habit is things that it is really great that I cannot be so close to my friend now. And because why it is habit, because the opposite side, what I can do, I just can get angry at and just ruin the rest of our friendship. So this is more complicated stuff, more complicated trigger. Okay. And do we need more time? Okay, who can tell maybe an interesting idea of habit you have, or who can tell something about your habits now with this model? Yeah, yeah,
Sunday or Saturday, it depends on my moods, but actually, on the weekends, I prepare the whole food on a week like in a container, like fucking container.
mm-hmm.
So about trigger, it was very interesting, but if I see the dish on the weekends, I see that, oh, I have to make.
Okay, so you have this visual reminders dish to make this.
So about the simplicity, it's not really clear for me about like simplicity. What's simplicity?
Okay, we are going for it further. Yeah, okay.
Yes, and rewards. I have a, I have a, on the whole week I have a.
Yeah, great, great. Yeah, great, great example. Thanks. So you have something? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, well, by example, this is a more simple implicit trigger. Feeling tired and then have coffee. It's really. And by the way, the TikTok and Instagram feel tired and want to go to Instagram without any explicit trigger. It's really common things. Thank you for this example. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
When I come home, I lay down on my bed with the laptop
Yeah.
instead of sitting on the table.
Yeah.
Figure is exhausted and I want to die. I want to
Yeah.
So when I see my bed,
Yeah.
I walk away from it.
So first is exhausting, and second you see this bad. Okay.
But when I lie on the bed, I don't spend my I don't waste time. I still want I still try to read something, but it's
Yeah.
less productive. Fortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Comparison with sitting on the table.
Yeah.
But I still do it because I think it's more chilling.
Yeah. Well, so you're going front, you're tired, but you still lay and work. By the way, I have another solution for you, and I will take about it at the end of the class. Okay, maybe some other ideas. Yeah.
Okay, the habit of Instagram in the morning.
Yeah.
So the trick is actually waking up. The motivation is to destroy desire to sleep again.
Yeah.
And the availability of internet.
Yeah. This is a really great example because when we will talk about procrastination, we will try to focus that procrastination is not the 100% bad thing. And the idea that going to social network will distract you from getting bad, it's things that I was understand from myself recently. So I really like that you understand, you see this too. So yeah, you may go to social network just because it's woke you up, it woke your brain. It's a habit. Is it a good habit or a bad habit? We will talk maybe later, but this is definitely a habit. Okay, maybe the one last stuff. Okay, maybe a last stuff for me, a last habit from me. Um, Sometimes, well, I'm a regular man, so most of the time when I see in my smartphone an app with, Telegram or VK, I go and dive into it because I'm a regular man. But sometimes when I identify myself as a productive man, when I really think that this time is working, I have another habit. I see this app and just swipe it away because I swipe it away faster than my brain tell me that I need to go deeper. And this is another habit that uh, may be because in this a smaller part of my life than I want, but still there are some parts when I think that I don't want to go deep. I want to swipe it away and just focus on my work. So this was a last habit for me. And before creating task, I think we will have a 10 minutes break. So 10 minutes break for you, go and so on. And then we will continue to understand how this creating triggers, simplicity, and motivation works. 10 minutes break. Okay. So let's go further. We analyze this model, this BJ Fogg behavioral model. We analyze it, how it's laid out on existing habits. And now let's try to analyze what to do with creating habits. What do you know about this stuff? What do you know about habit creation? Yeah?
You do something every time you do this, can you
Yeah. Well, it's trying to me to. Well, is it okay for here? Habit. Okay. What you call? Trigger. Is it okay for you? Okay. Trigger. I will call it chain of habits. Chain of habits. Yeah. This is a really great technique. What do you know else? Okay. Maybe something else about habit creation. Yeah.
For destruction of some habits, you
Yeah.
need to make the starting of the section harder. For example, much you can make some password.
Mm-hmm.
If you do game up, write this password on the shelf, you have to click
Okay. We change the ability. Okay. You want?
Do something possible like 1,000 times.
Okay. What is this about motivation or? How it's connected?
Force yourself to do it 10,000 times.
Okay, force yourself. Well, still there is something about motivation. So you have what you tell that you do something because you have goal of achieving. So is this motivation about goal? What else do you know about habit creation? So can you?
Like sport.
Yeah.
After some sport activity, you just you commit one movie or
Okay.
something like this.
Okay, so this is reward. Reward after. Okay, well, this is my how it's called podcherk is awful, but this will be all be on slides. So for now, it's just to see that something is happening to make it more consistent. Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think? What is it's trigger ability motivation or something? Yeah. So it's called PBL. Points badges leaderboard. I will tell something like this. Uh, the gamification is really a huge part. Uh, remember me and I'll tell some ideas about it. But yeah, you have some points, you have some unified elements, and this may motivate you. Well as distract you. It's all if bad gamification can distract you either. Yeah.
Part of the list. It's how you say
Points, badges, leaderboard.
but actually make maybe a new relationship with someone, maybe it's your friend or something like to challenge it. For example, if you want to create a new habit, for example, sport like go to
Yeah.
the gym, make new friends, or maybe it's you
Mhm.
just find a friend with that you can motivate you.
Yeah. So,
Like
so
in a
mhm.
in competition, you become more motivated because you're trying to like like overstep your friend. He's become
Yeah.
overstepping you, and in this challenge, you become more
Yeah, so social relation, friends, and competition. Yeah. So this is all, well. Let's print this and let's make it a simple minus there, because as points badges as also gamification, it may motivate you and may distract you if your friends he's an ahead upper than you, that it will distract you. But still, yeah, it can motivate you. Maybe one last idea from yeah. Just a moment, I'll close the door because sorry. Um, yes, there is a technique. Yeah, so 2 minutes. Okay, it's called often it's called 2 minutes rule. So let's me to write it in this stuff. You will find the term 2 minute rule uh, in some productivity books. Okay, let's go further. So you already have a bunch of methods that can help you to create productivity, to create habits. We will put them in more bigger context a few moments later. So, but you already know a lot of things. Okay, what habit do you want to create? Can you, if you are going to this course, I suppose that you want to change something in your life. So, what is there any habits? So for now, okay, sorry, yeah. For now, let's make it individually. Let's have another, well, not 5 minutes. Let's have another 4 minutes, and please just go and write down the habits you want to create, because you will be working on with them. let's
About the needs of these habits.
needs what is
Необходимость.
Mhm.
I mean that maybe you want, okay, about diary.
Yeah,
It's like my
Yeah.
milestone.
yeah.
Maybe I think that I have to make this habit,
Mhm.
but it will be not productive for me. I
Mhm.
mean that, okay, let's imagine the situation that I will have this habit,
Yeah,
but it won't help me.
yeah.
And what do you think about the needs of the habit? You may imagine that it will help you, but
Mhm.
actually it will not.
Yeah, there is some such stuff, obviously. Well, I live in paradigm that there is no needs adapt at all. So everything is optional, everything is possible for you, and you may find motivation for your diary when we're talking about notes and so on. Maybe some of this motivation will resonate with you and you understand why you want to have a diary. Maybe you not, maybe not. And you can understand that you don't want to have a diary because nothing is resonate with you. Yeah, it's about motivation and the action. If there will is writing diary will be really simple and you have a tiny motivation, it's okay. If it's harder, that it is you need more motivation. Yeah, you have some.
It's not so trivial how to transform something I would like to do into a habit. For example, I have a lot of articles that I need to read, but I don't understand how to make a habit from them.
Okay. Well,
For example, if I don't have constant supply of this article, for each article a day, I will run out of them.
okay.
I will break it and collect some great articles once more.
Okay, right now work on what you understand and what I will tell things about diary. I will tell think about diary, and I will tell by think about articles. But for now, try to make it as you understand. Try to make it uh, as you feel it is. Yeah.
If we are talking about the habits, good habits and the bad habits, how we can eliminate the bad habits?
As this will be the third part of our presentation. Yeah. Yeah, going deep, we will understand that bad habits are not as bad as I understand as they are, but still, yeah, we will think about how to get rid of them at the third part of the lesson. The third part of this lesson. This lesson is about habits. The next two about productivity and organizations of information, kind of one. Okay, so are you ready, or do you need more time? What? Okay, you're ready. So let's me tell a few words uh, stuff that you ask. At first, I have this stuff. I'm really proud of this stuff about points badges leaderboard. I want need because maybe this video of this lection will be watched by a person who teach me gamification, and if he sees this stuff, he will just argue on me and say that Anton, what are you teaching people? So I need to tell about points and so on. Gamification, it's a very wide topic. It's working as I understand, it's working in two ideas. First is to make just a good simple stuff. When you have games, you have the rewards are constant and they're really comes just after you make something. You have this, for example, mushroom, and your Mario becomes big. So how old this example is? So there was a constant the increase of how it's called abilities slowly. So you always think that you have this feel of control, and it just created as the system as it must be any system, and we will understand how to teach it without a gamification. And then there is this game addition, so this thing that put us to the constant of the game. So for example, well, let's informate. So the first part of the gamification is just to make something like, well, I read the article, and now I have, and just after them I have one point at Hirsch index bigger. So constant reward, a quick reward, is the war part. But it is only a part about gamification. It's not, there is no game in this part. And the another part is about this all stuff that related to games. So this points, the avatars, and so on and so forth. And this part is working because we just know that the games are interesting, and we put it to the context. And the first part is, well, productivity as it is. So we will understand how it works. We will understand that rewards, how rewards work, how to make things simple, and so on. And then the second part is working. We will talk about it, but it's really interesting stuff. What game can suggest to you? Okay, but gamification, from my point of view, it's mostly used for external motivation because, well, I know people that gamify their life internally by themselves. For example, the mentor of the course of gamification that I was studied, he has some examples, but still it's much easier to gamify external. You know how it's impossible to make a, how it's called, щекотка, защекотать себя. Вы не можете защекотать себя. You can't just make it for safe and loud. And so the gamify for itself, it's possible, but it's more complicated stuff that gamify external stuff. Externals, yeah. I will make it in the last slide. In the literature, I will tell you. Second, the diary. About the diary. You ask why the diary is more complex, and you spend 2 months and can't understand it, can't make it a habit. Well, because the ability of running a diary is much more complex than the ability of making sandwich. Now you see that making sandwich is just easier, and so because it's easier, the habit should become habit quicker. And about articles, well, talking about articles, we are well, the border between habit topic and productivity topic are not really tough. There are some interdisciplinary connection. We will talk about them later. And so, if you're talking about making habit of reading articles is tough because, well, the reading articles is tough. So sorry. There is articles of you need to be sometimes here, somewhere here. So you can suppose it as a broad term of productivity itself, and we will talk about tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. But you may as well have and see that, for example, trigger may have per day, but the trigger may be that, well, I have 10 articles to read, and this is my trigger to read them. And also you can somehow simplify reading articles. Hopefully we live in 245. So there are, for example, ChatGPTs that you can send the article and ask him to simplify and to give you a main idea. This is a good point to start to simplify the reading. Okay, about creating habits. Well, I will not ask you, yeah?
What means diary? Like schedule your life?
It's diary. It was what Alexei, yeah? Or how's your name? German. It's what German asked about his habit of diary. So,
What is the habit of diary?
oh, please.
okay, you know that in a day or maybe in a week you have a lot of tasks, you have a lot of something what's happening and what's around you, and the good way to store your knowledge, the good way to store your thoughts about today's situation or something else, is that write on a paper or like or maybe else not even paper. So and like your thoughts, your opinion on this situation, like a little bit self-reflection about what's going on, and for me, it's what I said about.
Mhm.
This is what I said. So for some guys, it's like diary. It's about their schedule on the week or on the next day. So depends on your, I would say, your your
On your goals, maybe on your goals.
yes, yes, yes.
It's not only to remember everything.
No, no.
Mhm.
It's about for me. It's about my thoughts.
Mhm. So okay, let's
Maybe
go.
ideas, something, or because sometimes I forget about something that I have to do, and only on the evening I just see, oh, I forgot about it,
Mhm.
but I really want to do it. So and making it diary, I think it's a good way to. But
Yeah.
let's discuss it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go further. Um, the things that I want to tell you about today lecture about lots of other lectures that methods are well about sieves. It's theta. It's sieves with different sizes. So we'll discuss methods in different from different points of view, and some simple methods works for simple stuff, more complicated method works with more complicated stuff, and some things, something like drugs addiction and so on. It's still may consider as a habit, but well, I will be happier if something from this lecture will help with drugs addiction. But still, it's maybe go to psychologist or narco dispenser and so on. So there are very tough stuff that methods are not working there. But still, some lots of more actions can be created in pretty simpler ways. So let's start from them. And the first step is the goal. Where we start, and the goal is the most, and first it's the first part, and it's most creativity part. So it's most part about reflection. Uh, and this is about this diary example from German. Well, what is the goal? If your goal is to have thoughts, it's maybe diary, it's maybe, well, I really like dictaphone. I put lots of my thoughts on dictaphone. I put lots of my thoughts on not dictaphone and on digital stuff. I put lots of, you can just share your ideas to your friend, and this is how you can communicate with your friends of your thoughts, and so on and so forth. So there are uh, lot of realization of one goal. For example, let's. I go into the gym, and let's imagine that want to have this, how it's called, press, kubiki press, and my goals may be really different. Maybe my goal is to attract a girl, maybe my goal is to live longer, maybe my goal is just to be able to put more tough stuff to lift them up. So the goals might be different. If I understand the goal, I may found the different habits. For example, if I want to, my goal is to live longer, then maybe I will not go to the gym, but I will walk to a school check by my legs, because I know that walking it helped me too. If my goal is to attract girl, maybe I will not go to gym. I will increase my communication skills. So different goals may give us different ways to find um, the habit. To the record, the first example about girl was from my mom, and this is from me, so we are really similar with each other. Okay, a goal. And then next is more straightforward. Triggers. Triggers, again, it's something that after what you do the stuff. Triggers, the most easiest triggers is external place. For example, when you go to Skulltech, you firstly you have a cup of tea. When you go to library, firstly you put your phone down, for example, or something like this. Triggers may be reminders, and you can see that I cut the time off. There is no such trigger as to run at 5 a.m. There is no such trigger as work at 9 p.m. because it's just not physical. It when we are trying tell that we have habits that is on the morning or in the evening, it's still not an exactly time. What you may feel that it may be a reminder. So if you have a smartphone and you put this habit to 9 o'clock and it reminds you that this reminder will be the trigger. If you have something in the evening, maybe the feeling of tiredness and the feeling that you want to go to the sleep will be the trigger, but not the time itself. And this is well why I point this out, because okay, I don't know about you, when I was thinking about habits without knowing all this trigger stuff, when I was talking about it, I was thinking when I want to make something at this time, and if I have this digital habit trackers, lots of them are connected to this time, because digitally it's hard to see when you have action, but it's really easy to see when you have a time. So lots of habit trackers connection to the time, but time is a bad trigger. Actions, it's trigger about other actions. For example, when at the evening when I wash my dishes, I'm going to brush my teeth. It's one after another. At the for example, maybe another example, when I going to cafe, I about past half of a year, I feel a hipster for myself. Sometimes I'm going to cafe in Orbion and work there because it just works for me. Okay, internal things, getting boring, having emotion, and remember anything, maybe this stuff is a tough triggers to create, but this is really common stuff of triggers of habits that we can want to get rid of. For most of us, watching YouTube, watching Reels, or going to Telegram is not only about external trigger, for example, not only about seeing that we have a smartphone, look at this, but also about internal triggers that we feel bored, and we have a habit that after we have bored, we're going to smartphone. So this is internal stuff is very common about getting rid of triggers. And the most complex stuff is a context. It's just a combined stuff of everything around you, people around you, music, atmosphere, and so on. But when I'm talking about coffee, it was mostly about context. So in context of coffee, cafeteria, I used to work. In context when I'm going to sleep, I have a context when I turn on the light, make some sleeping music from Yandex Music and so on. And this all context put me in this relaxed position when it's digital context is the most complicated, but still this is a trigger. So let's put me additional stuff about triggers. It's about external, and internal. Well, okay. Ability. What ability? It's just simple that you need to simplify things. Okay. how to simplify things. Can you what you have a thing that you need to simplify it because well behavioral model of BJ Fogg tell you that the simplest thing that easiest to do it and the easiest to make it a habit. Um, what can you have give me an examples of some simplification, or can you give a general workflow how you can simplify something? Yeah.
General idea is create some task into very small in article. It might be some reading an abstract first, then check the features. As it happens that reading one part, usually introduction.
Okay. So well, all stuff is not atomic. Well, by the way, who read the book called Harry Potter and the Methods of Personality? You never. Oh, guys, you have so much future. Harry Potter and the Methods of Personality is a fan fiction about rationality based on Harry Potter, and it is a really must have. Please just read it. You find really good, interesting stuff for you as a scientist. It's really okay. Then I will not go, for example, but yes, from there. But yes, our actions are not atomic. We can have a first logical part and do it. Maybe some other stuff that we can simplify. How the general ways we can simplify. Mm-hmm. Easy action. Well, mm-hmm. Well, it may be okay. It's maybe how it's called this. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it's preparing. It's prepare, and there's other stuff that you're not talking, but it's simpler. Well, I don't know how it's translated in English. Sorry, выгрызание. It's called выгрызание in Russian. So when you put, just find the simplest part and do this. When you read the paper, you don't start with. When you write the paper, you don't start with abstract because abstract summarizes all your paper. You start with result because the result is stuff you are sure the most. So find the simplest. When I write my PhD thesis, I start from results because it was really hard for me to make literature review. It was really complicated, but results was okay, so I write them first, and this become more. Everything else become easier. Okay, maybe okay. Let's go further. So first thing is first action. You mentioned it. Second, preparation. You mentioned it about just put this book. And the third one you not mentioned. It's really well. It's not commonly thinking, but it's really ideas that I want you to remember. Make it time bounded. Every action we will understand why sooner in the next lesson or in the lesson after it. Lots of actions are easier if you make it time bounded. If you tell for yourself that I will not, okay, I'll start work, but I will not work while, for example, I read the article, I will not work while I create a function on programming, I will work for 5 minutes, for example. When I'm going to gym, I tell myself that I'm not going to create the whole procedure. I am going at least for 20 minutes. If I am going to 20 minutes, it's okay for me. So time bounded, make it. It's the thing that it will go through the whole procedure. Make it time bounded, it will become easier for you. Yeah.
I remember the guy that's telling his story about how he started going to the gym. He's got some. Actually, the main goal of his habit was to make a habit to go to the,
Yeah.
to the gym. And he's got some, I don't know in English, like установка. I mean, like
Mindset.
Yes,
Mindset.
like mindset. Yes. He said that okay, if if I don't want to go to the gym, I have to go and 5 minutes, maybe only 15 minutes. It doesn't matter, but I have to go. Like I can go and if I really don't want to make a gym or something else, I just go and go back.
Yeah. Yes, this is it's a great example. We will talk about it about in a more general way later. But yeah, it's the stuff. It's a mindset you need to. Half a month ago, I go into a gym for the first time in 3 months because New Year, and before it I have some another stuff. So I was in the gym for a long time, and I start to make my program, and at the half of it, I feel that no, today is too much for me, and so I just go away from the gym, and it was okay for me. I was not blame myself, and the next time I make this program. Yeah. So it's a great mindset. We will talk about it. Okay, preparation. About the gym. So when I how to go to the gym? To go to the gym, I need the clothes and the clothes. I need to water, and I need to have a free time in the evening or in the morning. So I need a lot of things to decide before going to the gym, and focus on it is another good example of habit. So preparation may be another habit, but it may be a first time to create. Right now, I am working on my habit of brushing my teeth in the morning. Most of people brush their teeth in the morning, but in my family, it was always in the evening, and so till today, I don't have this brush on the morning routine, only in the evening. And how I do it, I go to a bathroom and I just how it's called, spalaskivать, I don't know how in English, put water in my mouth and then throw away. It's not habit. It's not It's not brushing the teeth, but still it's preparation for this stuff. Okay, motivation. Motivation is it's become distance and close. So goal we have the rewards, and there will be process. Process помочь, how it's called. I don't know how to pronounce process. Oh, I have process there. This stuff of process. So motivation is distant and close, and the stuff what you need to know, and what is the point of the whole productivity system. Why we all need this productivity? Because distant motivation are always weaker than a close one. So when you want to have habit, usually you don't want to go to the gym. Usually you want to have this press, you want to have live longer, you have all of this. When you have the habit of brushing teeth, you don't want to have teeth brushes. You want to have your go to dentists more how it called, not so regular as you are. So most of our habits is about goals, and the point is that the process, when you have a goal and we have a TikTok there, TikTok is always win. You know it by yourself. So what to do? The first time is to try to understand how to make process good for you too. So, for example, again about gym, it was really long time for me to understand, but now I see that I really like YouTube videos, and I really curious man. So I watch a lot of stuff about history, about gamification, about literature, and so on and so forth. A lot of stuff that go on an hour and 2 hours and something like this. But I don't like to watch it at home because I have another things to do. And so I found that if I watch the video during my gym routine, it's become better for me. The last gym in Saturday, I even slow down I make my program bigger because I want to end the video I watched. So this stuff, for example, another stuff, I don't bring water to the gym. I bring tea to the gym because I really like teas. and so on and so forth. So please try to make your habit focus on process. It's each habit is not so complicated, but so I have about a year or 2 years before I go to my routine for now. But it is really important to have process. Another stuff is if you don't really understand how to make process easier for you, this stuff will help you. Self-control is a slow internal motivation. What does it mean? Imagine two situations. At first situation, you are going to the gym and you decide that you will go to the gym by the evening, and you have all day to that, and during all day you know that at the evening you will go to the gym, and at the evening you go to the gym. The next step is you don't decide anything and just you go from the work, and in this time you go think, let's go to the gym. What is easier for you? To decide before, to have all day to understand that yes, to the even the evening there will be a gym, or decide simultaneously? Okay, okay. Who thinks that decide before is easier? Who thinks decide before is easier? Most of you. Who think that simultaneous decision is easier? Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I will tell about scheduling. The scheduling really sucks. I completely agree with you, and this is why the whole productivity system I will tell you is not about scheduling. So this will be tomorrow. I will tell why. I will guess why it is maybe easier for you to spontaneous decision, but still you see that for most of you, preparation is become the stuff easier. Why it's happening? Because while you preparing, you just don't need to rely on willpower. You just know that it will be so. Today I am going to when I am going to canteen. I have how it's called. It's called celery, сельдерей. I don't like celery because celery. I don't know how it's pronounced, and I don't like it. It's it's annoying. And I have carrot with it. Carrot is sweet, and I like carrots. But every time I'm going to canteen, I have both carrot and celery because I know that it will give me some vitamins. Maybe it is not, but I think that it is. And because I decide to buy this celery with carrot stuff before I'm going to canteen, I buy it every time. But still, I don't like celery. Still, whatever how it's much time is going. So focus on preparation. It is another style why you need to do it. So the first time why you need to focus on preparation because it make it simpler. You simplify the things. The second part because you just don't rely to willpower. Motivation. And another stuff, well, just praise yourself. Just похвалите себя. It's not really common in our culture, we don't like to praise yourself. And well, I don't like it either, but still it's working. Well, I call praise, it's not about, dance, a Joker dance after the stairs. It just, sometimes I just do things that it's connected to my distant goals and things. I'm okay, I'm good. Well, I tell, yes, я молодец. Something like this, and I just push my attention that I am great man because I'm doing what I want. So try something like this, and you will see that it's really working. Even it is not really common for us. Press yourself. So let's go to the template. I don't have a visual template. I have a template that you will have that need. I have part of some templates. When you submit a goal, a habit, you need to have a habit. You need to have a goal. Why you do it? You need to have a motivation. It may be motivation both by goal, but please really look of how it can be motivation on purpose, on process. Why it will be good for you to make it. For example, for diary, maybe a good music and cup of tea will make the deal, something like this. Then this very important stuff, and why I was talking about the BJ Fogg model, write the simplest action, the simple possible action that you will do when your motivation is down, when you don't think that you want to do it. Simple stuff, for example, just prepare your clothes, or read just for 2 minutes, or just open an article and close an article, so on. The simple action. When then try to write the goal action, what you is your full package habit, and then a trigger after what you want to do it, and check that you can follow this scheme. That if happens, you will do the action. About this simple action, we will talk a bit later. But why I'm telling this stuff, because it must be your action. You can't tell that after belts and rings I will become muscular man. It's not an action. You can tell after alarm clocks, my friend becomes the nicest person of the world. He's already, but still, it's not your action. So try to understand your action can be. Okay, practice. We have a bit out of time, but we will practice for this. So we have this habit creation template, and what will be the practice? You all write the habits you want to create. Choose two of them. Let's make them two of them, two most interesting of them, and try to make it go from the plate. Try to see the goal, the motivation. The simplest action is really the important stuff. So what is maybe the simplest action? The goal action and the trigger. Try to write it down for two habits. Let's make it for about, again, 5 minutes. If maybe 3 habits, so something like this. So write down from this template the habits you want to create. About 2 or 3 habits for this template. The simple section is a very important part. About what? Goal? This is the full action you want to habit. So usually your habit is not marked as I want to open the articles. The habit is I want to read articles. So the goal action is, the full action, to read article, to make the full process of your gym. So it's just for you to understand where you are going. Okay. First, I have a technical question for you because timing is not my best way. It's not my strongest part. I have a lot of things to tell you, so I can rush into and we will get on time. We will go at the 7. We will end, or I can still rush but not so hard, and we will end later. So is there for any of you who have who can be late, and so why we need to be on time, or we can have make the lecture and the lecture a bit later. Well, timing is not my best time, but I will hope about half an hour. I will hope that it will be about. Okay, okay, okay then. Okay, what time do you have? What time do you have? Okay, then we will rush, but still we will do this task. We will do as we want, as fully, and then we will rush. Okay. The next 5 minutes. Okay, then we have not enough time. Reflect on own habit. It's quite complicated. It's much simpler to reflect on some other habit. I'll ask you to find a pair nearby or three guys and tell this guy your habit, and this guy must give you a feedback how it feels and ask question about motivation, so on and so forth. So work in pairs and discuss the habits. Or in thirds, you have for one of you it will be three guys. So you two, you with so you two. Okay, you free. Yeah. So work in Python freeze, and in 5 or 6 minutes, just discuss habits from that you created, and give a feedback. Ask about, for example, I tell my habit is to go to the gym, and you ask, what is your motivation? So on and so forth. What is your trigger? So ask and try to reflect on others' habits. 7 minutes. It will be 7 minutes for you.
Now
No, the habits that you want to create. The habits that you want to create that you just put by yourself.
My desired habit is
Okay, so the time is off. Who have some interesting insights from this conversation? Who can share? Yeah. Yes, this is one of ideas that we will mention it. It works sometimes, sometimes not. I never do it for my life, but still there are, I know people that make it. Okay, maybe any other habits that you was, uh, you understand better for yourself? Yeah.
I also got a idea to make a list of Telegram chats related to professional things and check them regularly.
Yes, it's a great habit. I will tell you a bit more soon. Yeah.
Yes, I wanted to create a habit about like reading more English books because it can increase my English skills.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm thinking it's not good, but so and firstly we discovered that I think the simplest action like to read one paper, one page.
Mm-hmm.
But we discovered that maybe it's not a good way because the one page maybe it's very simple and you just read it and that's all. But sometimes it can happen that you read like you spend maybe half an hour on this because it's really hard to understand. So and we discovered that it's more convenient, I think, to make a time limit. For example, just read for simple section, for example, 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, yes, it's really great idea.
For goal action, for example, just read 1 hour or half an hour.
Yes, it's
This is the interesting thing how to find your trigger about it. For example, if I first I have an idea that okay maybe if I've got some procrastination time or something else, it's a really good idea to start reading or something. But again, you have a procrastination and you don't work you don't want to work on something and you have to force you to work and maybe
yeah,
it's not a good idea.
yeah.
And about trigger, I'm right now thinking about it. I don't know what I have to do.
Okay, now, well, as time is running up, I will tell some general stuff, and maybe some of what I'll tell will be helpful for you. But if not, we can discuss it later in Telegram. Maybe something will. Yeah, this is for all of you. I am here for you, and I am in Telegram for you. If you interested in some details that are connected on just for you and you don't understand what to do with you. Well, I'm not God. I'm not I can't create everything, but maybe sometimes I can help. Okay, we do the stuff, and because we have not enough time, we will not practice on getting rid of habits. But generally speaking, all you need to get rid of habits, you already know. So this is the quite opposite the thing that you need to put the habit. So reflect why it's important for you. When we talking, for example, for social media, we usually mark social media as procrastination is a bad habit, but why we are so attracted for social media? Why it is so important for us? What our motivation? Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting about other people because we are social animals. We live in society and it is interesting about society. Well, I have a girlfriend that now is in the vacation in Europe, and every time I go to social media, I hope that there is a message for her, from her, and obviously I really motivate to look at it. It's change the condition, remove triggers. For example, because smartphones are really here for us. Every time we see smartphone, part of our brain thinks that we will go to social media, and this is why I have paper. This is why I have a dictaphone there, because when I want to write my thought, I don't want to have additional thoughts that I will go to smartphone. Um, Make it harder to make. So again, this block, style, password, and so on, and change the motivation. Resist take. I will tell you a little bit more later. Okay, yeah. Once again, it triggers not work there if you have motivation, ability, and if you don't have triggers. the most problem with this getting rid of tasks because the most triggers are intensive, not external but internal. It's about getting bored, but or feeling procrastination and so on. But still, getting rid of external triggers at least will make it simpler for you. So you know about removal pushes from your phone. You know the stuff that don't mark every message and distract you. When you want to eat more healthy, you know that it may just put apple inside before you, but not put some sweet things before you. And for simple stuff, it's working. Okay, about everything else we will talk soon. We will not have time of practice. Okay, more theory and tips. This is the final part, and I'll try to make it in a half an hour. And by the way, why we are so many times put on creating habits and so much little time put on getting rid? Not only because time is not my best part, but also because often getting rid of the task are about creating the new one. You know, you can't create a habit of not doing something. You can create a habit of doing something instead of anything something else. So that's why soon often creating a habit, if it's not about removing triggers, it's to make this trigger work for other purpose. Okay, so let's go further. Triggers. What to know about generally about triggers is that good trigger is the same context is instant and concrete. About constant context. So if you trigger in a bathroom, a good habit is about getting clean or washing something, and bad trigger is when you go to a bathroom is to read a scientific article, just in separate areas of our brain. So make the trigger somehow related to the action you have had. Instant, it's obvious that you have trigger. Even if you have trigger in a bathroom and your action is in your bedroom, it's still bad because you know this feeling when you go to a room and forget something. So the best triggers are instant. And the last time is concreteness. When you try some trigger and it is not working, maybe you need to make it more concrete. When you're talking about habits, sometimes you talk in some ways. For example, when I'm going to a home, I will do stuff. But going to a home is a process, and you say now that when I go to the home, put off my clothes and go to a room. And you try this trigger, and you understand that this trigger is not too concrete, and you say that when I go to a home, put off the clothes, go to my room, and put my phone to charge, then I will do something. So play with concreteness. Try this. Try to make it more concrete when you need it. For example, about teeth, I tell that I want to create this habit. I start with trigger that tells that when I finish my routine of process my inbox, I will tell about this routine later. I'll go to brush my teeth, but this trigger is not too concrete for me. Now the last trigger is when I finish it and get up from my chair. This is more concrete trigger, and now I'm trying to do this. So play with concreteness. Chain of habits, we was discussing it. So a good way, the best way to create new habit is to chain to a previous one, and this is why the morning and the evening is the golden time for all habits, because you have enough time to create habit after habit after habit. So chain of habits. Motivation. We was not talking about motivation much. We was talking about trigger habits, but motivation is very important stuff, because obviously if you don't have motivation, you do nothing. and it will be more and more important for the second lecture. So the second and third lecture. So whoever heard about external motivation, internal motivation, and this stuff, autonomy, unity, mastery, whoever heard about this external internal motivation? Oh, okay. So there are a bunch of theories about motivation psychology. You know, there are a lot of theories, but maybe the most common for now is the self-determination theory, and this says that there is an external motivation and internal motivation. External motivation is motivation of something that outside your mind, goal, reward, status, and so on and so forth. Internal motivation is about yourself. Mastery is to become better than you are. Autonomy is to make what you want, don't be pushed to make do anything else. Unity is to feel that you are part of a group, and creativity, childness, it's the part of motivation that I see this part in some research, but the canonical version is just free, as I understand. But this is about about plainness, about interesting on something unusual, and so on and so forth. And what is the point about external and internal motivation? External motivation pushes you to the goal, but it is less and less stable than internal motivation. It's really unstable. There is I won't tell you how it's called bike anecdote. There was in Odessa. There was the second thing about Jews. Sorry. So in Odessa there was football players. Football plays in boys who play football, not professionally, just put just in the yard, and they play football. They loud. They sometimes the ball's going to someone windows, and so everybody except this boy hates this game, as the joke say, and everybody don't understand what to do. And there was one an old and wisdom Jew, and he tell, I will do it. What he do? He come to the players with the boys and tell that I will pay you 20 rubles every time that you will play, 20 rubles. And the boys say, yeah, 20 rubles, we do it. And they play. They play more intensely, and the people around don't understand what to do because it's become worse. But this man says that this is okay, trust me. And week after it, this man tell boys that, times are hard, so I will pay only 10 rubles. Boys say that okay, and they play, but not so intensively. And the week after, this man tells that, no, I can't pay it at all, and the boys stop playing. Well, this is a joke, but there is research that children and people, when they have a reward, the motivation vanishes much faster. So this is the point of external motivation, and this is why this is important this will be important for us in future. About internal motivation, this is much more rigid. This is the motivation that help us to be stable, but still there is a drawback. Can you guess what is the drawback of internal motivation? Why it's not the ultimate solution for everything? Well, no, everything is imaginary. Yes, sometimes you need to push, but I'll tell. The internal motivation is about about research, about play, about sees what else we have, and sometimes it's not what you want. If you want to, for example, pass your master degree, obviously you need some research, but if you will research everything that you are interested in, maybe you will not you will not make a master degree at all. So the internal motivation is just, while external motivation is something like this, internal motivation is something like this, you know. So once upon a time you will go there, but it will have more time. But still, internal motivation is much more stable than external. This is important stuff. And this is one, again, why you need to think about process. Because process is about internal motivation. I'm going to a gym because well, mastery, because I want to be stronger than I am. I am going to the gym because, well, unity, because my friend of mine going with me. I am going to the gym because maybe I can choose the movie I want to watch from YouTube, and I'm going to the gym because, well, for example, I have a gamification app that create my inspires my childness. So internal motivation and process. Think about it. Yeah. And other stuff, why maybe for some of you the simultaneous decision is easier. It's called the waveform motivation. Волна мотивации. So sometimes you just feel that everything is on your head, not on your head, on your shoulders. So everything you do can do everything in your life. You all have this time, yeah. Yeah, maybe at the end. Yeah. Sometimes you just have this feeling, and use it, but don't use it to some obligation. So don't use the stuff to have things. Oh, okay, I will go to another course, or I will get another book to read because at the time the course starts and the time the book is need to read, this wave of motivation will vanish. But use it for prepare, use it to do something like this right now. For example, to go to the gym. If I right now see that I have this motivation to go to the gym, yes, I can go to the gym. If I have right now motivation to do something, I can proceed all the stuff, all the rubbish that's going on my working table. So work uses way for motivation for preparing, not for you at a new obligation. Obligations. Как зовут? Obligations is обязательства. And the next thing about motivation is, well, the most powerful, but the most, not hard. It's in, how it's called. I don't know even the word in Russian, so it's not. It's bad. Скользко, flippy. It's a flippy term, but it's really the most powerful. It's internal rethinking. So when the German tell about the man that is going to the gym, and then he tells that, okay, I will leave the gym, it's okay for me. He can actually think that, no, I can't leave the gym because I'm waiting here. But he resets his mind, he sets this mindset that it's okay. This is rational thinking. When I am when I told you about this stuff, when I swipe out the social networks, I make it because in this time I feel myself as a man who doing stuff, who doing work, and this is eternal thinking. When you in the start of the lesson, I ask you to feel yourself as productive man. It's eternal thinking. There is research about American people who vote to the president election, and if they are asking, "Will you vote?" They will have process of voting. But if they ask if something like as voters, people who are citizens of America, voters, when you vote, the number of the voters will increase because people identify themselves as the voters. And there is some reflection why you're doing this. And about this I will talk later. Motivation and ability are come with each other. So motivation is sometimes it's proactive and but also not proactive. If something is easier for you, you usually has more motivation to do it, and it becomes more easily to, and so on and so forth. tip of how to make reframing is 5 whys. Now we are going to the part when my mother is psychology and she provide trainings when she meets with groups of guys, and there are 40 hours of work, and at least half of them is about the topic. I will rush it for next 10 minutes. So this is really rethinking and reframing and some changing mindset. It's a really complex stuff to understand during lecture. But my point is not to tell how it is done. My point now is to give you motivation to try to do it. And if it is it is really hard for you, you can ask, you can use diary, you can go to psychologist, you can ask friend about this, and so on and so forth. So 5 whys is just to try to push yourself while you're doing anything. So everything they do is because of some motivation. There is something in this base, and usually it is really good to understand why we are doing it. I want to tell a parable. It's preach about Zen monarch. So there was a Zen monk and a student, and after he became, I have some words because it's really hard to understand, enlightenment. After he became enlightenment, просветленный, a journalist go to him and ask, "What are you doing?" And he tell, "Well, now when I am enlightened, I am bring the firewood, колю дрова, and have water from the well, берет воду из колодца, to give it to my teacher because my teacher is really old." Okay, asked a journalist, and what was your routine before you become how it's called, enlightenment? Well, says the monk, I was bring the firewoods and bring the water from the well. The journalist become, interesting. What's the difference? Because the action there and the action there is the same. And the monk, because he's become an enlightened, stay. That the difference is the feeling. Now I'm doing it because I know my teacher. He's an old man. He become cold and he needs this water and he needs this fire to stay alive. And I love my teacher. He give me a lot of things. And before I become enlightened, I do it because he said it. And this change of mindset is really complex, but you can see that it is really interesting. Going from the parable to real world, for example, examples of the gym. After the gym, you have this, how it's called, your muscle become, you have the pain of your muscles. And this is not the best feeling in the world. When you don't have pain, it's better than when you have one. And if you see this as a cons from going to the gym, you see, no, I don't want to go to the gym because I don't like this pain. It's one mindset. But if you say, oh, this pain means that I work really hard and I become more muscular, then another mindset. Really, my trainer said that this pain is not the specific part. You can make gym train without this pain, but still, if you have this mindset, this become great. You even don't have an obstacle to overcome because it's not an obstacle. It's just a proof that you are great. About social networks, again, while I have mindset that social network is some obstacles that I need to overcome, I can't overcome it. While when I have this mindset, I'm working man, and the first time I worked as a working man, obviously working man, not go to social networks. When I have this mindset, I swipe it, and I don't see this as an obstacle. I see this as an opportunity to prove for myself that I'm the man that I identify with. Okay, so yeah, productivity is very often about inner consent. I have a break few. Yeah. 7 minutes. 7 minutes. Let's see. Let's see about. I hope that we will go on time. Okay, I will have a break not because I have not time, but just because I want you to analyze this stuff. Because as a scientist, I think that believe in some matter and materialist, I don't really like to describe such cloud wobbly stuff that is not that you can touch. But I really hope that I share you the feeling that when you that the mindset is optimal, this mindset is possible for you, and if this mindset happens, that there will not be any obstacle to continue. It will be just a proof that you're going to your way, the way that you identify you with. Okay, go further. So motivation is a start and end productivity. Why it is? And why we're talking about motivation like this right now? Because nothing working without it. Without any motivation, you just why you do it. But the hard stuff, the tough stuff, you can rely on are triggers and abilities. You can rely on your motivation too much because motivation is fluid. Some days you are motivated, sometimes your motivation is really slow. So the goal for you is to make such habit that a really tiny motivation level is okay to make this trigger work, to make the habit works. So this is why it's the start when it's have, but the end of when you rely on it. Next stuff is about hard and soft ban and why I don't like the passwords and the idea of give some money and why I use this stuff, but I use it in another way. You see it, and why I use flight, why I use this stuff, why I use this stuff. No, let's go. Well, I don't use it. Sorry. Okay, it's not working. It's not working. Yeah, it's work. Why I use this flat light? This is also the idea of hard and soft band. Now when you have, it's okay for you. I need to turn it off, so it's okay. Okay, so that's good. We tell about internal motivation. Now there is the first subsequence from this internal motivation. We don't like pressure because it's put against our autonomy. Our autonomy is it's one of very important motivation for us. And if we say that there is a pressure, we go against it. That's why when I tell about body, I say that it is optional. Because if I tell that everyone need to do it, you will see this pressure. And I found that I don't like the pressure of alarm clock when I'm waking up, because the first thing I want is to cut this off. But it's okay for me to work up from the slide. The slide going from 10 or 20 minutes, and I usually wake up sometimes during this stuff. I can lay for 5 minutes more without this noisy alarm, but still there is a light, and you know that the lights are physically important because they are running some biological processes that can wake me up. So this is both wake me up in a physical way, but also this example of soft ban, of a soft idea of how we can how to lay it up. And this stuff, I will use this stuff too, but I don't use it with sound. When it cut off, you will see that it will become it will notify you without sound now. Soft ban. But so if the hard thing is not working with you, maybe you need to find something softer. breaking the habits, I tell you that breaking habits are going through the creating new ones. Still, and this stuff is related to things that BJ Fogg, the author of behavioral model we are discussing, this behavioral model. Well, it's called pair habits. Some habits change your bad habit. So this idea, and I have things that I call mindfulness triggers. Mindfulness triggers is about how to get rid of some bad habits. My idea maybe it's I don't know is somewhere else. So habits about automatically. Obviously, the definition of habit we discussed earlier was broader, but still when you know when you bored and you go to reels, Instagram reels, or when you're bored and you're going to check your Telegram, it's not your willpower decision. You go to it automatically, and every break in this chain of automatism may give you returns of the mind. So, for example, if you turn off internet connection, you go into the social networks, and social networks is not loaded, and you see, oh, what is happening, and you have this moment of mindset of mindfulness when you need to decide. And by idea of soft ban, it may be enough for you to stop the trigger, to stop the habit. So you can try it. Or go for a full screen. If you go into a full screen, for me, I don't see this when I work in the notebook. I go to from this stuff where I have all of these things to get distracted. I go into a full screen, and now I see only this presentation, and I see only the code and so on. And this simple trigger removal triggering is enough to create what you need. Okay, the problem is this simple break. These triggers are really simple to break, and I want you to, if you follow the stuff of mindfulness triggers, to ask you this question: what is become a habit? The problem is we will have. Oh, we are running out of time. So. Boom. Okay, yeah, we are running out of time. We will have about 10 or 15 minutes more, and then there will be optional. At the very end, I will discuss my habits, and I make it optional for those of you who need to run. But this will be on video, I hope. But I don't know when I will push the video for you. Okay, so the main problem when we create a new habit is then we already do something before. We are living guys, and so when we when we want to create a new habit, there is another actions that we are used to do it. And if you follow the old path, you never create a new habit. And so it's important for sometimes to rest your stack. If you wake up and you go firstly for your smartphone and it is not habit for you yet, you can ask yourself, okay, I'll going to smartphone once, but what if it becomes habit? Will be I happy or not? Maybe yes, maybe because you put smartphone and you wake up, but maybe no. If you break the internet connection and then one time put it on, you ask your question, okay, I put it on once. Do I really want to break this habit and find a new one? And raise the stakes, поднять ставки is time that you that really help if you're going from idea of soft ban. Okay, habit repetition habits can be repeated artificially if you can prove if you're happy, for example, that you're going to your room, you can go to the room multiple times and repeat your habits, and you will great. Reflection, bad habits when you want to get rid of bad habits, the first time you need is a reflection. Use observation and recording, but not a judgment, not judgment. So when you want to get rid of habit, you feel that this habit is bad, and you have this idea of I am a bad guy because I have this bad habit, or something like this, some negative emotions. But if you record this bad emotion, every time you notice, you have this bad emotion with you, and so recording is another habit. And if recording is supposed with the bad emotions, you will not ever have this habit of recording. So just observation and recording, and then you will understand something for you. Okay, focus on preparation. Okay, use premortals. We talk about premortals that you can do something before it's going wrong. Change environment. It's much more simpler to just put your smartphone away than to fight with it. For example, my smartphone charged in the separate corner of my room, so I just don't have physical ability to watch it exactly at the moment I wake up. So change the environment. And willpower, we have several ideas. We'll talk about it. But the one idea that willpower is limited. The another part is that it's not limited. And some research says that what is belief, what is what it is. If you believe that it's limited, it will be limited for you. Okay, how tiny actions lead to the goal, and this is maybe this is the last important stuff, but it is really important for you. And because all this idea of tiny habits are based on that you need to use this small habit. So why? Because tiny actions put your context. So after you read this 5 minutes book, you already have your book before you. When you go to the gym for 5 minutes, you're already in the gym, and you make prepared. So it is much easier to continue when you already done this small step. And it's allowed not to feel guilt, because when you not going to the gym at all, you're feeling that you are lazy and so on and so forth. But if you know that you put this important first step, that you don't have guilt, and negative emotions demotivate you, and you need to be motivated to have any habits. So regularity is beat completeness. So регулярность важнее полноты. You must be more regular, but not rely on make it complete. But regularity is less than guilt. If you feel guilt if something changed, that just don't. I don't have enough time to discuss it more. And why understanding of tiny habits, importance of tiny habits are important? Because the sense of completion is important. If you just heard about that, use tiny habits, it's not feeling the completeness. But if you understand that tiny habits put you in the right context, you feel, okay, I'll done the action, and it's good for me. Okay, so raise the stack, make these tiny habits motivate for you, because you see this connection from tiny habits to the full habit idea. About habit tracker. Habit tracker is the point of habit tracker is about that it is habit itself. So how to create it. And the point of why I don't use habit tracker, because you not need to see fails not as fails, but as growth point. And habit tracker, you know, is this, most of its habit trackers is about something like this. It's great, and nothing. I do nothing. Great, and in this time I feel sad because I don't pass it, and double sad because I use habit tracker. So this is the problem with habit tracker. Okay, that's all for today. The main part. For those of you who are not rushed, I can tell about this all my routine and describe it. But now, for those of you who want to go, let's go. We'll have break, and if you have another 15 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes, I will describe about my habits. Maybe some of them are will interest you. For those of you who are going away, I will record into the video, and you can look at it sometimes later. So this is all for official part. Thank you for attention. Okay, yes, the task for today is two tasks. First, well, the task for today, will is contact your body. Okay, create own habit. Put one habit into canvas with the template you use, and put some thoughts that resonate you most. I'll ask you to mark them during the lecture, so put them to the canvas. Okay, and yeah, the very last time that I want for you a very quick feedback, please, from 1 to 5. How this lecture was new for you? How many new interesting and how many stuff that is useful for you was in this lecture? From why nothing new, all I knew, all is water. From 5, it was very mind changing lecture, and I knew a lot about habits now. From 1 to 5, quick feedback. Okay. Okay, I see. And from 1 to 5, how it was interesting, how it was not boring. So the подача from 1 to 5, how it was interesting. 5, it's very interesting, and 1, I was bored. Okay, great. I see. Now that's all. If you want to stay for about another 10 minutes, I will tell you about something like this, but that's all. We'll have a break for those of you who want to go, and I will tell about those of you who don't want to go now. Okay. Okay, so okay. So thank you for passing from me then. So I will try to be quick, but not really rushing. About morning routine, what I want to tell you about that lighting alarm, you already see it. The point of lighting alarm is that it is at first it has physical connection to my morning, to biology. Second, it is a soft burn idea, and that it is not have this noisy alarm feelings. So this is how I wake up. Once a time I try to combine with regular alarm, it is not working at all, because when I use regular alarm, I put it down, it's not working. Okay, tea from the evening, I have this, what's called, thermos in English, and I really like the feeling the hot tea before when I get up, and tea has coffee in, and it's working on your biology, and combined with the stuff. Usually, previously I tried to boil the tea in the morning, but it was not working because I need to go all the way to the kitchen, and this wasn't working. But the tea nearby, the hot tea, is really work for me. Parsing the inbox is about things that that I will tell in the second or the third lecture. It's about productivity stuff. I will tell you what it is. And brushing the teeth, I mentioned it a couple of times that I do, how I try to create it. After parsing my inbox, when I go from the chair, I go to bathroom and just wash my teeth, not use the brush for now, because I'm just creating evening routine. Turning light off, I have music, dress with poncho is the stuff that have a context for me. So in the evening I have, how it's called, песочные часы. I use timers in this песочных часах because I really like this against soft burn. I really want to have the time, but I don't want to have this noisy stuff. And Pisok, don't do it. Pisok is really soft for evening. Yeah, hourglass. Yes, hourglass. I'm working on my notes. I wash dishes, prepare the tea for tomorrow. So this is why I focus on preparation stuff. Use dictaphone as a diary, because at one hand I want to make this notes. I want to push somewhere efforts. On the other hand, I don't like to write by my hand regularly, so I use a dictaphone. I put a marker sheet, something like this, near to the bed. I don't do it often, but for example, if I know that um, I am creating, for example, these lectures, and I know that the thoughts will become on my head when I get to the bed, I use this stuff just to get rid of the spots somewhere. Yet, and I reading, also reading some rest habits. About the gym, I told some of this. I prepare the back before, so focus on preparation again, and it's become easier for me. And again, I have mindset that I will go. This again, I don't use willpower because everything is set. I watch long videos because this is when I can do it without the guilt. I really like a bathhouse banya in our fitness, and so every time I go to the fitness, I go to a bathhouse. And yeah, and when I don't make the whole program, I don't blame myself. I just go straightly to banya because it's really nice feelings. A timer for home. There's a man who was asking about telling about working at the bed. I suppose tells that I will have another solution, but he will watch in the video. When I go home, I was I have the problem. Maybe the problem is the same as for you. When you're going home, you are tired and you don't want to do anything because you're going from school sick, you was working all the time, and so on and so forth. But without any trigger, you going from this from home to the end of the day without any task. Even when you rest, you go home, you may rest a bit, and then you have the energy, but you don't do it because there is no trigger. And I have 1 hour trigger in this stuff, and I have 1 hour when I can do everything I want. I procrastinate. I watch YouTube, I lay out of the bed, I watch music, I communicate with my friends for 1 hour, and then when this clock are ticking, I say, okay, there is a task to do, and I start taking the tasks. So yeah, and this really worked for me because and again, this timer is not in smartphone because it will be in smartphone. I will not do the stuff. I will just go to smartphone. Okay, so about deep work, turn internet off and swipe away social media, I tell you this. About videos and articles, we will tell about in the last part. And yeah, and about answering people, we will tell tomorrow or at the third lecture. In the Telegram, maybe the one thing I will tell about Telegram. You know, I'm a curious man. I tell you that, and I want, and in Telegram there are lots of free dopamine chats that have make some useful posts. Posts that are useful. Post about motivation. Post about productivity. Post about so on and so forth. But still, they distracted. And now, maybe I show you. And now I use all of them in a separate folder. In separate folder, this folder, and I don't have this folder at the starting screen at the Telegram. So if I want to read these channels, I need to make a decision to read these channels. And this really helped for me because when I go just to Telegram, I don't see it and don't get distracted by this information, but still not really important for me now channels. No trigger, no problem. Yeah, so that's this is the true end. You'll find the true end of the story. Thank you for more attention, and see you tomorrow. If you have questions, you can ask me now, or you can ask me on Telegram and so on. Thank you for attention. Okay, I want to record an additional part of the lecture because the PPT will be not available for some of you if you to watch the lecture, the video. So we stopped, and the productivity is about habits, and where this need to read, where I want to read it, and where I not read during the class. There is some, container habits. The habits are more or less flexible, and the some habits are really straightforward. You go and wash your teeth and so on, and nothing else. Some habits are less more flexible. For example, read a book. You're reading a book, but the book is not one page for all time. Your books and changes, and some habits are, just like borders on something bigger. For example, a habit to do a task, to do work, and something like this. And this we have still trigger, and still because this trigger, constant trigger, because it put us into some context. Well, I tell that it is habit, but still it is very at the corner of habits area. Container habits. It's the idea that it's related from the habit to productivity. So yeah. Container habits again. It's when the strict habit is about wash your teeth. You do the same. In the middle somewhere you read the book because the book changes, and then another corner it's that you say a habit of learning English or a habit of doing tasks. So more just borders. Okay, about home task I showed the guys. The bibliography Tiny Habits BJ Fogg is maybe the one most useful book about habits. The Atomic Habits is much more famous, but still, if you want to read one book, please make it Tiny Habits BJ Fogg. And two books in Russian: «Психология, мотивация, достижения Гордеева и графикация в бизнесе и жизни Ивана Медведева и Мирослава Бронникова». They also have connection to our topic. And where is the last slide from why I want to record all this is how complicated everything is. And I don't want to give you an idea that everything is really simple. Yeah, we have this BJ Fogg model, but still we have lots of things that are not clear and very interesting to understand. For example, well, what is the additional, what do with addictions like drugs and alcohol? They have habits. Well, yes, maybe they have trigger, they have motivation, they have action, but still it is really hard to do something like this with our framework. About a gap between theory and practice. Okay, maybe you know that you have trigger, motivation, and you need to simplify habit and what to do. How to make from this basis to your real habit. And this is a complicated question because sometimes it is very straightforward. For example, I mentioned during class that I have a habit to take a rest for about an hour and then have a timer that mark me that the time is over, and I start to do something. And it was I really use my knowledge about habit creation to create this because, well, I don't have I don't have a trigger. I just create a trigger. Then I don't have problems with motivation, but then I understand that just do any task is too tough for me, but I know that I want to make a task, So I just figured out how to have a simple task for the beginning. So it was straightforward. But for example, for YouTube video, and YouTube and gym, that I watch YouTube videos at the gym, it was really not straightforward. It was, well, yeah, I know that the gyms are about, I want my motivation and process and so on and so forth. But from this now understanding to the understanding that, well, uh, I want to watch videos, there was a very more lots of steps, including the habit that I just watch video from YouTube in specific areas, including that I start to listen music, and then this somehow is some insight combined with I listen not music but video and so on. It was not straightforward, but still, for some reason, for some task, it is just focus your attention, and this is all what you need. And for and always also for it is good. Yeah, and for some tasks it's still a lot of research of ideas, but it's still good for understanding why habit work and why it might not. So use some premortals. For example, if you know that this habit is good, but you think that it's quite tough for you, you can try to simplify it. Uh, and what else? Yeah, uh, and uh, and yeah, it's a mindset about don't blame yourself, and find the simple actions there can help you too. But still, there is a there is a gap between theory and practice. Yeah, you need to you need to look what other people do, you need to understand what you want to do, and you need to reflect on your motivation, ability, triggers, and so on. So yes, um, this gap exists. Okay, one does habit become automatic and why not? It's in general it's understandable that if some habit is as simple as make sandwich, it may be automatically. If it's more complex, for example, writing diary, it's not. But still, there is some uh, some border between them, and this border is not really understandable. Uh, Also about poor prediction of the future, we'll talk about the next lesson. But in the class, one of you tell about that he want to go to the news spontaneously because planning sucks, because planning is not working. And yeah, planning is not working, but habits is somehow about planning. So what to do with this stuff? This is what we are discussing. Well, in general, if we discuss now, we need to be productivity must habit must be more flexible. So in a rare case when you really don't want to do it, you can don't pass it and don't blame yourself. But in another case, you have if you don't have more time and motivation, then you have just what is this tiny start action. So this is a short answer. Then the line between putting habits with guilt and importance of regularity. So on one hand, we want to have regular habits. In one hand, we want to don't blame ourselves if we don't go to habit. So this is a line that you want to understand. Moreover, there is some kind stuff called planet hedonic deviation, запланированное отклонение. Is that, for example, when you're in a diet, it's okay for you to be a diet for a week, and then about a day plan that you will not be in this diet. So and there is some tiny details. And the last question is if we are about habits or what's this additional for a lesson, but this is what we will understand in this lesson. So now this is really all. See you and thank you for this attention, this additional part of the lecture.